The defending champions knocked off the team that met them in the final last year in Na'Vi, and they have a challenge against former foes in G2, who, by the way, are starting out on the CT side.
That's where you want to be. I'm going to expect early aggression coming out from G2 here. I know they love to run across mid, jump across the boiler room, check for any second mid information. Let's see if that's going to come out from Shox, who appears to have the spawn. We got CZ on Exist and the Flash, so not a lot of utility for the T's on the pissed round. Kenny's going to spot some down mid, and they're backing off early, as all of the NiP players are making their up the mid corridor really quickly.
Exist, by the way, went on to a CZ without armor. It doesn't matter if the headshots hit, because Body hits two of them. Get right. Getting him back, gets taken down by Shox as they swing back in middle. So Rez, yesterday was excellent on pistol rounds, has to try and save them again. Back through the archway. He knows Apex is near the spawn, but not quite in the corner behind the pillar. A good position, bomb down, no wrap potential to be, and it's all to Draken. At least gets onto a silenced USB, gives him some accuracy and range to work with. He's got bomb back in his hands, but a lot of distance to cover. And not going to get much of it at all. Shox takes him down. Good start, G2 on the pistol. And look at this. Apex is already going to try and play the crowd.
Nice and clean there from the boys from G2. That was fast-paced from NiPs. You know, early on, first pistol round of the day in the morning, you want to keep it quick. You want to try and get those frags flowing. Wasn't to be. Body standing strong at the quad side. Two nice opening frags there, and then the rest of the boys are able to clean it up. And coming into this one, they've opted for a bit of a... I wouldn't go as far as saying it's an all-out force buy, because we've... Oh, no, there we go. He just finally bought up. Exist didn't have head armor. They've done it. They've gone with the force buy. Once again, no Tech 9s. Don't know how I feel about that, but we'll settle in. Smoke on Get Right, smoke on Rez. So maybe an execute in mind for the late round after they wait out any early CT aggression, which isn't going to come in, but Shox with his patented MP9 in hand.
Seen a lot of the MP9 this weekend. For most notably.
Loves a bit of it.
Does, but then when he gets the M4, decides to rush, so... Interesting.
Lots of map territory being given up by G2 early here, Matt. You know, you've got the two players in B, Apex, MPK sitting all the way back. Shox is in the archway, Kenny in the pit, and Body on the balcony. So any executes that come in, they're going to have no early information. Right now, NiP are taking that banana control slowly. They still have the smokes up and two flashes. It looks like they're posturing for a B hit at this point. And an early rotation has come in from Shox. They've read this one well.
He's got a chance to peek it. He's actually going to get in their face. No, I'm going to tell about the cubby because they had no vision of top. Banana doesn't want to walk into a crossfire, but goes aggressively, and it's Get Right that actually wins the exchange. Now, it's just an MP9 picked up, but it's something to add to their arsenal. In fact, they give it to Exist, who's got a little bit better off on the HP than Get Right is after the exchange. Draken can find the shot with a deagle. Might be an opening.
It slows down now, but MPK shouldn't have taken that fight. He should have let them rush into the site. As soon as you get that opening frag on the B site, you're only expecting one more opponent to be in there. And taking that duel has made them slow down, has stopped the rotation, and now they're heading back to A, where only Kenny and Body have anchored down in pit.
Double pit as well. They both have the rifles, which gives them a chance toward quad. But as soon as Kenny peeks, he feels pressure from apartments and looks back that direction. Body thankfully has the angle held when they wrap around, and Kenny sets for it. Body, I have to say, Body's very good in pit, so keep an eye on that throughout the course of the game. Apex is back in position, and it's 2-0 G2.
That's classic right there. That's what you want to do when you split up in a when you're down in a disadvantage on the CT side. You want to give up that arch side, you know, especially with pistols. If they're going to go through city spawn, they're going to come at you from the wrap side, they're going to come at you from mid to B, and you're in the bomb sites and you're bunkered down, you have the advantage of those rifles, and that's what we saw come out there. Kenny looking a little bit shaky, but finally converted, and now we have a full eco coming in from NiP. This is where I'm going to expect a bit more aggression, a bit more facing out of the boys from G2. Here we go, banana aggression from MBK. He's got that UMP in hand, wants to milk some cash, farm it up early and get that bank going. But as you like to put it, Matt, I hope they can hold on to these rifles and pull out a Jaden round, because that's always very effective on the CT side of this map. You can close down banana, you can use those Molotovs, you can take some really big gambles. And P9 striking.
I'll call it diggity just to pay you back.
Oh, that's very nice.
Apex does push back out. You're right, the MP9 strikes. Gotta farm up some cash. Apex jumps down, make sure he's already firing before he lands. The shot's in, and they've got bomb down at the stairwell. They know where it is, and it's just a matter of procedure at this point in time. So 3-0 is how we're going to start this game. Money on the NiP side. Obviously, they'll have it. Question is, do they get toward? As Forrest finds a few kills, get toward the AWP. They're just shy. So Forrest has 4650. Draken's a little bit less at 4200, but no one can able to buy it, drop it over toward him. They'll go with the rifles straight up.
Yeah, Shox should probably buy an AWP right here and drop it across to Kenny, which...
He bought it himself.
Yeah, okay. I just thought that maybe that would be a good decision, but that wasn't to be. But it doesn't matter. We got that AWP in the hands of the wizard himself. The Magic Stick wielding bad boy is going to take a pick at mid here and doesn't have an AWP to go up against. Like you said, he does spot one jumping into mini pit, but Draken's going to step out and take him down. That's a great opening for NiP early. Perfect shot. Get Kenny gone already. They have a double up setup that they can run on this map. They've got other players who could wield the weapon if they can get toward it. BK with the UMP sits well back. Timid, he's not encouraged to try and push back down Banana, but Shox will get to the AWP, and that had to be the goal, and Draken knows it. So he'll make the call that the AWP is toward the arch, at least for now. They won't know if it stays there, but they'll be more timid and cautious of their approach. They need to keep Shox active right now. You are in a man disadvantage. You can't just sit in the bomb sites because you can get executed on in this situation and your defense is spread. Your utility is going to just disappear very, very quickly while you try to delay. What they need to do is set Shox up, do a pop flash, get him out there finding information or a frag to even this one up as quickly as humanly possible. NiP, they're not giving away anything. They're sitting right back. They're running down the clock. They're allowing this utility to be used. But MBK, he's jumping over that wall. We'll use the smoke very defensively. This is going to give the banana to NiP, and this is what they want. They are rotating Shox, so you are giving the banana away without utility, but Shox will at least have the AWP in B. And be ready. Oh, that boost, Draken. They have mid-wall as well here, Matt. You know, the NiP having mid-wall and banana, it means they can easily fake, they can easily execute, they can play the rotations. We need this, we need a gamble, and the gamble has come in. G2 have stacked over towards the B bomb site. They've got 3 players over there right now. And it's a gamble that may pay off as well, because GetRight's going back that direction with 18 seconds. They're going to go. Shox has to pick up Kenny's op and make best work of it. Smoke comes down, so he'll lose his vision and the first chance of the shot, but he goes back and still finds Draken. MBK boosted up on top of Orange's 1. He's able to find 2 with the UMP, but eventually it is all solved. This is what you were talking about. They didn't know. No. They didn't know Apex was there, and yet he whiffs. So NiP get the site, even though it was stacked and against them. They do so with low HP on Forest, but it's double AK set. And 2 kits, AWP and FAMAS for body, which is sufficient against Forest, even with the armor, and with Exist going down to 13 HP. But he finds the win against body. Luckily, the call's been made, they're low. The pistol could be enough for Shox, but Exist holds the angle on him as well. You could be confused, Matt, for think we're watching some silvers right there. That was some of the worst aim I think I've seen all week. Apex and body whiffing sitters, absolute sitters. And the round is gifted to NiP as they pick that one up. A fantastic call, a fantastic rotation, a great gamble. G2 did what they needed to do. They made the frags, and then Apex and body thought, nah, we'll just miss some easy shots. As they are going to be able to put together another buy, G2. They need to stop NiP here. This is how they can really start to hamper and hurt their economy and go the lead. And on the flip side of that, if NiP pick this one up, G2 are going to be struggling. Yeah, both teams are at break point. Kenny back on the AWP. Held the SMGs, as you said, another buy. He's able to get the kill this time. So reverse of last time, he went down first. This time he finds Forest. GetRight is still going to pursue. Aggressive toward apartments as well, considering he's got no support. There's no one else even in Boiler. There's no one in a position to flash him out. He's just going to hold the position and hope that no one peeks, in fact, backs off it, which is probably the better call. Banana control being taken once more. They're not trying to play too transitional. They're not playing too aggressive, the boys from G2. They're giving it up relatively easily. And with that in mind, NiP have a lot of map control right now. They know Boiler was clear. They can have mid-wall if they want. There's no presence there at all, and it looks like it's going to be another banana hit as the bomb is making its way over there to group up with the rest of the squad. Have enough utility for a decent attack, but they're going to rely on hitting their shots again, or G2 missing theirs. So again, Banana, this time a man down, but one less in the site to contend with. So does that equal odds? I'm not sure. Apex behind the smoke. Wants them to go aggressive. GetRight smoke, don't need to tell you, is already aimed towards CT. That one's easy to figure out. Apex knows there's a timer on the one in front of him. He backs off accordingly. NBK, Emo, and Orange's 2, not new box. Keep in mind for Apex. So if they find the angle and they get past NBK, he's going to be sitting in the open, but they haven't gotten past NBK, and it looks like they will not. Eventually, Apex decides to go out when he reloads. Doesn't need to control the peak, but body's there. And Draken, well, at least sitting like a turret, will find Shox. Hang on. This young man has been very good all weekend, guys. Let's not give away any economy because it's still fragile, but they pick up the round crucially, and that's going to leave NiP on the back foot, at least with an AWP. The key there, Matt, is you don't want to lose any more than 2 players. If you lose that third man, like we saw just go down, it makes it much harder to drop guns in this situation. Now, I know the iteration of Counter-Strike we're dealing with, people can buy the UMP. MBK is going to be the one doing that. Shox is going to pick up an MP9. They're going against the Force by off the back of that saved AWP, so this is really scary. The weapon situation doesn't look as dire as it could be for NiP. And Draken making his way very quickly up mid. They know that was coming. The smoke's come in. He's taken a blind shot through the smoke. He'll have to drop back and find another duel elsewhere. Looks like they want to take over Boiler very quickly, and Kenny's going to have some angry ninjas in his face very soon.
Oh, that is fast.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I think you get pretty high if you did. That's quite a shot from Kenny. Down toward apartments, they'll still pursue with Get Right again, but it's, as you call it, the mid-wall, top mid that they occupy with Rez. Smoke down, Shocks inside of Cubby. It'll be very hard for Rez to do anything with this position, especially with Apex sitting inside of the arch. Even if he gets one, even if he hits a lovely one dig, he's immediately going to be taken out and traded. As I say that, Apex decides he would rather help Kenny inside of the site. They go around, but Shocks lines up and gets at least one. Apex finds the other, does get double with the MP9 eventually, so good money gained. And again, it's Draken with the hop that was saved that's going to try desperately to do so again.
3 is that magic number, Matt. If they want to chase him and they give away another 2 deaths, the money situation for G2 is still going to be, as I like to put it, in the bin. But they are going to find him. Nathan's going to take him down. MBK with the frag. They don't need that AWP, because Kenny already had one, but they are going to offer the double AWP. So this is where we're going to see MBK on that secondary AWPing position, I suppose. Interesting changes, you know? It was Shocks doing it, and I wasn't a fan of that. I think he can be a lot more beneficial for the squad with the rifles in hand, and now Nathan's taking it on.
I like the call from Shocks to go back to the MP9 knowing the economy is low as well, because the double up set up against pistols, if they get overrun, okay, yes, they're big guns, but it's a scary thought to lose economy to just Glocks. And 0 purchases at all from NiP, so the MP9 is lethal, and he's getting aggressive with it as well. That range is a bit of a problem because he's used a lot of ammunition, has to get a reload in, manages to do so. He gets an ace with an MP9. I'm going to start buying it more often, Chad. What a gun.
He's the bank for the team right now, man. You know, all he's doing is putting those pennies aside for a rainy day when they need to bring out an AWP for Kenny at some point. And speaking of the man, he'll finish off with the CZ there. Give himself a nice little $100 bonus to end the round. When I say nice $100 bonus, I mean that kind of sucks. You only get $100.
Just to point out as well, Body isn't the only one wearing that large wrist bandage. Shocks has one as well, so I'm going to guess with 2 of them wearing it, maybe it is preventative. Maybe the team's taking some measures to make sure it's not an issue, which is smart because we know it has been. Either way, back to the AWP for Drake and back to the guns for NiP. 4 rifles, all AKs. Smokes, there's 3 of them, and 1 Molotov to work with for Rez. So not the best utility in the world. Look for the pick strategy, which works because Drake already finds 1. Kenny, he's in a bit of trouble because he's gone down toward alt mid very aggressively, and no one to support Forrest is able to get the kill immediately.
What was he doing?
Don't ask Kenny questions. He does. Kenny does as Kenny does.
All right, so G2 throwing themselves at the terrorist. Maybe they thought they were on the T side. Going to give away 4 frags and 5 for free as Rez is getting on the board now. That's 2 kills for him in that round. He's going to pick it up a little bit there. He was struggling until this point. Still early days, but let's take a bit of time to warm up in the mornings, as we all know. I think right now, G2 need to just take a deep breath because that level of aggression was probably unnecessary. I don't know if MBK needs to be going for the AWP. This is very stubborn. They don't need to be going for this style, right? Draken, we know he hits these flicks. You saw the thing on Reddit? That's just kind of how he does it. So you don't need to be dueling him. It's not necessary. And I don't think MBK having an AWP, he's not a primary AWPer. He's not someone who should be taking on a guy as flashy as Draken, who is going to make his way very quickly into apartments here. And he might catch Body sleeping.
He's not going to push through just yet. In fact, he may. Oh, get Shocks, who's climbing up. Oh, the flick. It doesn't land that time. Shocks with an MP9 wins the duel. Get Right grabs the AWP so as not to leave it near the site. Keep in mind, NiP winning the last round. Yes, it's a 3-round reset potential, but they've kept all 5 up, which gives them a chance in the next as well. More so with a bomb plant. Body will smoke off the apartments. Bomb, speaking of it, is all the way back toward T-spawn. Rez will run back to grab it now. No pressure on Banana at all from NiP this round.
Yeah, the biggest penetrating factor that the boys from NiP have is gone. Draken taken down early to a jumping MP9, and now they have to salvage the round. I don't think anybody on NiP having the AWP in this situation is ideal. T-side Inferno, it's hard to make entries happen, but Forrest is going to wield it as they throw some smokes towards that A-bomb site. It looks like they want to be hitting towards that quad side.
Kenny smokes actually almost interestingly positioned to allow him to play Graveyard. His one factor that he has to watch is the wrap at Arch. Shocks is rotated around. Gone down. Kenny, he's hidden though, and we know he's lethal close range. If you give him an inch, he'll take, all of it, but he misses by an inch. Misses by an inch, but goes back for more. They still haven't found him. Now they will. Exist has the angle from the pit. And Rez found 2. You said it. He's heating up inside of the site. He'll allow the bomb plant with his great work as MBK has to consider his chances with just one single AWP and money that is finally withered away. Body is 4,900, the rest around 2 grand or less. And that should signal for a save. Likewise, just to finish, they know that this is a reset for NiP, so every gun, it'll be a second round in a row, but every gun MBK gets down is also costly.
I just think they need to take a pause right now and tell MBK to stop buying the AWP. It's not necessary. You can see how difficult it is for him to even attempt a retake with it in this situation. Obviously, he's going to drop that across to Kenny. Uncharacteristically, Kenny missing what we would consider a sitter for him. He looked a little bit shaky as well with the Famous in the pit on one of those eco or force buy rounds earlier on in this first half. So maybe a few jitters for him early.
You're not as fun as Henry when that explosion goes off. He tends to be startled every time.
I come from the land down under.
That's just the Australian thunder then. It's just the exact same noise.
Yeah, used to it. Still winter. Oh no, it's spring now.
Speaking of Henry G, can we all get the hashtag get well soon Henry? Can we come up with something better than that?
Probably.
Rest easy, Hank. Hashtag rest easy, Hank. I'm good with that one. Or just at Henry G, hashtag rest easy.
Here's the pause they needed. This is what I love to see. They're probably wishing Henry well right now. But I think they just need to adjust, go back to what they were doing in the earlier gun rounds. I think the double op. Oh, we're seeing it again. Kenny has an ult. Why is this?
So interestingly enough, Henry and I actually talked about. So Shox goes back to his MP9. Dear God.
What is happening?
But, double ops and an MP9. Sure, fair enough. But we talked about this, and Henry was actually encouraged because he said coming into this in Pro League they hadn't been using the double op as much, and he liked it because he knew that they were relying on it too much early on when Inferno came back in. They've used it a lot already this game, which is concerning. They have a 6-3 lead, fair enough, but their money could be absolutely destroyed this round.
To justify it to some degree, 2 ops is great because you can pick off the players from NiP and not allow them to be able to set up into their executes. But they were doing fantastically with reads. They were holding the bomb sites very well. The first gun round they lost was because Body whiffed and Apex whiffed, right? That's the only reason they've kind of found themselves in this scenario. Shox continuing on the MP9, sure, he's got a lot of kills. That's fantastic. But it's not, he's not going to win a round with that, right? Like, he might get one and done. It's not enough. And now they've kind of given NiP a lifeline here as they have taken Banana control once more. And it looks like with all 3 members already near the top of Banana, it could be a bit of a fake. It looks like they want to bait out any utility that G2 may have. Molotovs are coming in, smokes and flashes. Chicken explodes.
With confetti.
Yeah.
Still want George Michael.
But see, right now, G2 are too scared to take a risk because NiP have been defaulting a lot of the time. They've been getting that boiler control, that halls control, and you can see how far back, if you look at the mini-map, the rest of the G2 players are towards that A site. We are seeing another Shox cheating over, I believe it is.
Yeah, MP9.
Yeah, so they have the read, they have the stack again, and it looks like the B attack is coming in.
If he gets kills again with that gun against Armor, oh, all right, it was Apex. I was going to say I will just be eating everything. Aside from my proverbial hat, I've done that too many times. He will go back in to try and catch off NiP with a push. Get right, still working inside of the site. Apex knows he's Molotov'd out. He sits in the flames, and Draken has an easy shot as a result of it. Shox is still in behind the smoke. Get right will babysit and watch as it dissolves bomb to be planted at default. And the rotation's just arriving. Body next in line, has to get closer. Shox, he does still find one with the MP9, fair enough. But watch out, because Draken goes close. He can't find the angle. Body's in position. It's all down to Get Right. Can't find the spray of the first, and he's on to 4 HP. The retake from G2 on a double op. What started, and with an MP9 in the mix, is going to be successful. They're going to find round 7.
Can he just get a real gun?
Well, he's picked up an AWP. Does that count?
That
They're going to
counts.
go back
Don't
to the
buy
double op.
another MP9. Let's stay away from that. I'm sure he's getting work done with it. They win that round. Apex was the only reason they had a chance in that. He got 2 nice frags as they entered onto the bomb site from this boost position, which is, you know, when you're up there, you're not going to get the Molotov in your face. It's going to be landing at your feet, so you can stay up there and go for as many frags as possible. And then you can delay like we saw him do, and that was good work by Apex, the hero of that round for G2. But when NiP are being given this much room, they're always going to make situations interesting. They're always going to get the bomb down. That means they can keep their economy up. So a change for G2 looks like it's coming in as we have 3 players heading aggressive Banana.
Draken smoke down, bottom of mid. Bottom of Banana rather, but toward mid. MBK and Apex going to try and establish some sort of territory. As Shox throwing the early smoke's going to rotate around it. He's going to need to. He's going to need to be in position, having lost already Kenny S on the AWP. Interestingly, they held it over and elected not to go with it as Apex has the 8K instead. He'll rotate as well, so they're going to leave with that deep smoke. The second one now applied. NBK to babysit toward Banana.
Look at this patience from NiP. They're just happy to wait out utility from G2. They're going to find picks if people want to overextend, like we saw Kenny doing there. Once again, missing a shot that we would normally expect him to hit time and time again. And now the mid-wall take comes in there. Smoking off one side and then flashing, checking for any CTs who want to be playing for information. And once you have this as a team, once you have Banana, once you have top mid, it just means that the whole map is basically yours. The CTs just have to sit in the bomb site and wait, and then they have to hope they hit their shots. It looks like they're quickly going B here. They've stampeded all the way up to the top of Banana. Lots of noise from the NiP squad. And MVK is going to be relaying that information as 2 rotations are going to come in, and once more it looks like another B attack is going to be coming in from the NiP squad with 25 seconds left on the clock.
MVK spotted immediately. Get right in Forest, find the entrances. Smokes down. The boost, though. Shox is still there. They don't check it fast enough. The bomb gets dropped temporarily, and also with enough time for Shox to rotate to Ruins. A menacing position with better utility. He could have been in position to try and take the fight, but he still finds it against Forest despite the missed flash. Meanwhile, the bomb does go down, so there's still a chance. NiP can hold it off. Draken has Banana to hold. If he can slide across toward the cubby, the AWP will be perfectly positioned. Not only that, he's thrown out a flash toward Ruins, so it would slow down the push. Instead, though, they want the smoke. They're going to go through it. Draken's got to be very careful not to be caught out.
Oh.
And he knows there's going to be 2 there now because the calls come in that they've reboosted Shox up. So Draken, a great first shot to find Body. But apparently, Shox is in the 30-degree window that Draken does not hit and gets another defuse. 8-3 now for G2.
Matt, what is going on? Shox has 17 kills. The closest on his team has 7. He's getting a lot done. I'm criticizing the man for the MP9. He's running around the map doing everything, gets that retake on his own.
I would wonder if this 17 kills might be the biggest amount of surplus gained from 17 kills, having used the MP9 so much. I wonder if that's a stat Peter can look at, the most amount of money earned by one player in a half.
He's in the building.
He'll probably got like 3 computers in front of him right now already looking it up.
He always carries around a calculator in one hand and HRTV.org open on the other.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
TI-83 Plus, Silver Edition.
I don't know what that is.
It's a very sophisticated calculator that also had a cool game called Block on it, which I used to play Block more than do math.
I just used to write boobs.
You could do boobless as well.
Yeah.
You could do 55378008.
I wasn't very creative.
Fair enough.
All right, this time out right here for NiP, it's not like they execute onto the bomb sites, they're getting a lot of map territory. I think they might change the pace. They did have success when they found those entries early, but they don't have an AWP in the hands of Draken. So maybe if they go straight into a setup, they haven't really been pestered too much by the aggression of Kenny. Hasn't got away with a lot of early entry AWP frags. I think it's 1. I think we've only seen him go for 1, or he's gone for more, but he's only been successful with 1. And it looks like NiP are just opting for that default spread again. Boiler control, window control, it's all theirs. They're just waiting out the Banana utility as usual. And this is just standard. This is just very basic Inferno play. You're relaying all that information back to exist, and then you're going to make a decision from there and hope that G2 overextends and gives you a free kill, which it looks like finally they've learned their lesson.
2 plants in the 2 losses of rounds for NiP, both diffuses on B. Gives them enough money for the buy, obviously, but this is last chance saloon.
This half could spiral out of control here if they're not able to convert something. The money's in the bin. They're not even close to full loss bonus at the moment. They will be able to scrap together buys, but this is the NiP execute that comes in. They're going to take mid-wall once again, but not follow through. I've seen this strat time and time again, Matt, where they actually do it and they kind of beeline straight into the bomb site. Something they used to do with Freiburg on the team, actually. And it was quite effective because it would force players back into pit, and the chain of flashes was hugely effective. But Shox taking a duel down mid. Another frag for him. He's going to find Draken in rotation, and now the number advantage once again in favor of G2.
It was a strat we saw yesterday as well from G2 that they smoked off the inside of the site, walled it, and took pit. So keep an eye for that when we swap over as well. But Shox, speaking of pit, will be there now to try and hold off the approach from apartments and Diggity. As they start to work in that direction, they line up perfectly. Shox, one through the other. He'll stitch them together with bullets from the M4, but it's Rez that gets the shot back. Kenny doesn't care, finds out exactly where default is, has it lined up inside of the smoke, and we go 9-3, and you are right, this is where money can spiral. No bomb plant as well with that 3rd round loss bonus, which would have put them on the threshold to bring out some AKs. Now they're just underneath of where they need to be, and it's a timeout as a result.
Yeah, almost back-to-back timeouts, right?
Almost indeed. Exist is struggling to dig deep.
This is where we hope Threat has some magic. Some NiP magic in the bag, but when Shox is picking up another 4 frags, bolstering his count to 21, This is just nuts. This is a carry performance and a half. I've been very critical of Shox and his position in this team, but ever since he's not doing this secondary or pig mat, he's been stepping it up. It looks like that burden has been taken away from him, and he's looking completely unchained. Back to the MP9, of course.
Back to the MP9. Yep. No surprise. It's definitely my favorite weapon in the game, Chad.
Yeah.
It might be a needle, but it works like a sewing machine.
So they've gone for a bit of a mix buy here. They're just playing the economy. They know they're going to be getting a nice little bonus next round. We got a CZ, Deagle, a couple of P250s, and 2 flashes. So this is probably going to be an explosion play. The man to watch in this situation will be Draken to see where he wants to be throwing those flashes. He's going to posture up the mid corridor and probably just try and flash pit. That means action's going to be on body.
Body smokes in, gets the gun drawn in time. Somehow snaps over and gets Get Right running in front of him with a headshot that, although Rez gets a response, means that they go down early. Good shot from Kenny. Forrest with the pistol did get Apex at range, but unfortunately, even though the bomb is planted, which, to be fair, is a win, it's still a large order for Rez. He's done well to pull this down to a 1 versus 2. Knows they're both out in front of him as well, but with 9 HP now, was 28. Likely he's going to find both players with armor, especially with the MP9, Chad.
Yep, you're happy with that, though. You're obviously very happy with that plan. You're going to get the money bonus going into next round anyway, so you might be able to get that AWP up from Drake. And let's have a little look at his bank account right now. We're definitely going to have enough money on someone on the team to drop it his way. Rez has 6,200, so shouldn't be any dramas there making it happen.
It's a beautiful trophy. Looks a bit like a missile.
Did you ever win many trophies, Matt, growing up?
No. Well, you know, sometimes I got like the consolation prize.
I got like most improved in soccer one time. That's like
okay, I thought we were talking strictly esports.
No.
Okay. All right, no, definitely not, if that's the question.
Here's this aggression by Drake, and he's going to find Shox early, and that's the man who's been getting it done for G2 Esports. Put to bed very quickly. And that's a number advantage in NiP's favor. Something we haven't actually seen them being able to convert too many times right now, but they're quickly making their way back towards that A bomb site. All 5 members of NiP are heading over towards A quite swiftly. And Apex is a very long way away from rotating here, so it looks like MBK and Apex are going to have to go for a flank if the A attack comes in. Kenny on the porch side, waiting for any aggression.
That's going to be the call. They're already down. They're pushing out to middle, and NiP's not moved. This could be devastating for them as they turn back and they realize there's a firing squad staring them down. Apex has the accuracy, 2 kills. As Get Right says, enough is enough, I'm going. Flashes through, jumps behind the smoke rather than into the pit itself. And Body will lose track of the angle because I'm not sure that he's going to recognize that Get Right has gone below and hasn't needed to wrap around from Diggity, and therefore is already closer, which means when he jumps up, Body's able to see him without a shot coming against him, and he gets 2 headshots dropping bomb. Forrest suddenly realizes that the deficit has grown and they've lost the opening that they had, has to clutch it back, can't do so. 11-3 now for G2.
That was sick by Body. You love those kind of players, just biding your time, waiting out, giving any information that you possibly can to your remaining teammates, and then 2 lovely headshots. Bang, bang. Love to see it. This decision here by G2, it had to happen, right? There was no one holding that banana push, and from there they knew they had to have the aggression because they were down that number disadvantage. Great decision making, but NiP, they're really going to want this 4th round here. They're going to need this 4th round. If you don't get this and you lose pistol round, that's all she wrote on Inferno, and we're going over to Cash. God damn it.
We'll get you over eventually. Draken back toward the apartment, similar to where Get Right has been pushing multiple times. Does so again. Just spray and hopefully get some wall bangs or anyone inside of the smoke if Body were to try and peek cheekily inside of it. Apex has rotated this time, so forget cheating. They've got 4 players toward A.
Some great reads here, Matt. The fact that they're rotating like this is fantastic as the attack comes in. Garrett's going to find 1. Body on the balcony, but Kenny finally hitting a shot there, taking down Rez, and the attack is on.
Attack is on, but Shox is in the corner. Kenny nearly got caught out because he was waiting to cover off apartments in the wraparound from Diggity. He had a player in pit already, and somehow he hits 1 shot that allows Apex to find not only 2 in the site, or excuse me, Shox, but Apex to pop up and find Draken planting, and he holds the bomb, babysits it, and they go 12-3. NiP never had a say in this half.
Peekaboo, how are you? Apex jumping up there, finishing off the round. That's what we like to see, and that was off the back of Shox just having a blistering performance. This is the Shox we know and love. This guy here We say Kenny's a fantastic AWPer. We say Apex, when he's feeling it, when he has the space, he can just frag for days. But Shox has the highest skill ceiling out of any player in this server. He's been touted time and time again from different eras, from different games, as the best player in the world. And when he's showing up in this kind of form, Matthew, he can't be stopped.
He's a tough man to beat, and again, he is one of the players on the French side, especially, that has always gone against NiP and performed well when he does so. So he is well and truly dominating NiP. I said they never had a say in the half. Keep in mind, early on, NiP actually had the economic advantage at one point in time. And because of the double op buy, because of the MP9, somehow they pull it back. And that was when the round spiraled. That was when the whole half fell apart. We knew it too, because Exist called the timeout trying to figure out what to do, and they just never got back into it. G2 controls. Swap over to the T side, pistol, and we might not have much more to go in this game. Keep in mind, NiP did have a slow start yesterday against Na'Vi, but twice in a row, can they make the comeback? I'm not sure, especially going on in Cash. If they have this form on Cash, this is done in 2, unfortunately for them.
Look,
time to show up.
I've been critical. NiP were gifted a lifeline yesterday by Na'Vi on Nuke. The fact that they weren't as prepared as they needed to be for that map is what gifted NiP a chance to get back into the game, and from there they took it. They took it with 2 hands, they unwrapped that bad boy, and they took them down on Mirage. Normally a home map for the Na'Vi squad, and put themselves into this semi-final. But G2 are looking hungry. They're definitely not looking sleepy. I think we have a technical pause.
We do. I saw that. This has called stop to the game for a moment to fix something on the NiP side. I didn't see exactly what.
You know it's Father's Day in Australia today, Matt?
Is it really?
Yeah. So happy Father's Day to my old man.
Happy Father's Day to your old man, and interestingly enough, it's my father's birthday, even though it's not Father's Day in Canada, so happy birthday to Dadokist. That's what I call him in real life, too.
My dad wants to come to an event, and he wants to wear a shirt that says Sponge's dad.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't know why he'd want to put himself through that cruelty.
I don't know either, right?
Get Right's dad in the audience. We've seen a lot of Cold Zero's dad over the time, but Get Right yesterday, obviously, his dad was going quite insane. Speaking of days and significance as well, we should probably just make mention, happy birthday to Smix.
Yeah.
Everyone yell happy birthday to her when she comes on stage later. I'm sure she's absolutely hating that I've done this to her.
She's 21 years of age today.
Perfect, because she lives in the US, so...
Oh, she can drink now.
That's amazing. I'm excited for her.
All right, it's unpaused. We're getting back into it. We have a smoke and a kit on Get Right that could be used in multiple different ways. And Shox, he has a P250, a smoke, and a flash bang. As we're getting into this second half, NiP need this pistol round if they want to have any chances. Exist jumping across early, getting that information, relaying that to the team. And it looks like a slow start from G2. They don't want to get stuck into this one too early. They don't want to keep their foot on the throat. They're going to be wising up. They're going to be playing slow, prepared for any NiP aggression that has come in the form of 3 players in Banana. Quite pushed up. This means that G2 do end up going towards the A-bomb side. There was a very fast flank coming in.
Fast flank coming in, and they're well hidden on the left side. Formerly where the pillars used to be. They'll try and get baited in by Forrest. It's Drake, and instead to get the shot. He gets first. The right, Get Right has not needed to move. Excuse me, Rez has not needed to move. I stumble over who's who in this situation, but it's perfect because he can be baited in, and as they go around the corner, he just sits and wait. It's a slaughter. A good aggressive push early to establish position without any contest from G2 as they sat back. It's NBK and Shox, and the bomb is down and in the clutches of now 4 NiP players as they rotate around. And this time I can say with authority, Get Right has not needed to move. He'll anchor the A side. He stayed where he was to begin with. As NBK evaluates how best to approach the situation, Shox goes all the way back with a single flash to try and get him inside of Banana. But as I mentioned, 4 players there. It's going to be a hard task. What? Jumps in, finds Red, snaps back, low HP on Drake, and the flash pushes them back. Suddenly, they've got ground to walk on. And they know Exist didn't get back in the site. NBK knows he's behind the sandbags alone.
This is doable now, Matthew. The fact that Nathan has jumped in there, grabbed 2 opening kills, and Shox is also running up towards A, making a bit of noise. Get Right is close. He's going to pick out now. He's going to go for the jewel. He's going to take down Shox. And MBK has to find the last 3 frags here if he wants any chance in this round.
Smart read from Get Right to hear the sounds, to recognize that he was looking at A but ran back, which meant they were going B on low time and peaked immediately. They shut it down, but yeah, I got to give NBK credit. Jumping in to hit the first headshot and then immediately snapping back. That made things awkward.
This is where we see which G2 we're dealing with this morning. Are we dealing with the G2 who just wants to finish this game as quickly as possible and are going to force buy? Or are we dealing with the G2 who's going to eco and just get an early gun round in? And, well, surprise, surprise, the force buys come in. Kenny hasn't opted for anything at this point. Oh, there we go, just as I say that. The caster curse comes in and he will buy the P250 and the head armor, which means come first gun round, highly unlikely he will have an AWP. Nice nade popping out the window there by Draken. And he has the scout in hand, so he can pester any kind of peaks coming in from this G2 squad. He can be very mobile with that scoped rifle. Not a lot of utility on the guys from G2. Doesn't mean they can do a lot. They're hoping for openings here. They're hoping to find some good timings or find a lucky frag. NiP with their pants down, but Foresters get in the back of the pit there, and that is a place to mow down some G2 players.
Draken does tag one on the scout, but gets tagged back and then walks out to Apex's greeting as they get inside a pit. It's NBK again, 2 on the pistol, this time picking up a weapon to work with, as he's got the silenced M4. Not as common that we've seen that this weekend. Good flank back from Rez, but a bomb plant in position as Shocks nearly burns. Gets down to 38, which Get Right will take welcomely. On MP9, he needs damage assist because they've got armor to go against that, and he's already low. In fact, he's gone. So too may be Rez, although he gets 1. He's on 9 HP, and with the bomb down, they've already spotted and figured out exactly where he is. He looks to the corner, body shuts them down. G2 respond.
Put a bow on it, Matt. This one's done.
Ever get to unwrap the bow?
Maybe next map. But it's not looking good for the boys on NiP right now. I think they're just going to have to force buy into this one to make this competitive. Winning the pistol, not being able to convert, that's not where you want to be. Head-in-hand type action there. And I think, you know, G2 are going to keep up the pace here. They were able to salvage an M4, which is always fantastic. And Shock's loving these SMGs. He's got the MAC-10. Maybe he thinks he's playing Source because he loves the run and gun a little bit more than most. Rez getting stuck in front of the Molotov. Body's going to clean him up with ease. And now Exist and Get Right are there. Can they do anything? Get Right needs to push through this smoke when the fight goes on against Exist, because you can't leave a man behind. G2 look like they're just posturing at the moment, just waiting for G2 to make a mistake. And they've rotated another player over towards that B side. Is it Forest who they've moved over there?
No, it's not.
Okay, because if it was Forest, he has a flashbang in hand and they could actually go for some kind of aggressive move. But Draken with the Deagle, he has been dangerous, but he has a really tough task ahead of them here. Still enough utility on the guys from G2 to pull off, you know, a smoke strat onto the site. Flash comes in. They need to check sandbags. It's going to happen. Rez goes down, but Get Right steps out. He's going to take down NBK, and he's pushed across to the sandbag. Draken stepping out from the corner to assist, but G2 have had enough of Banana, and they're going to run all the way back to the A-bomb site.
Back to get the Galil. It's a shame he almost didn't have it on the first peek because he got the information. Could have taken a duel before they escaped. It's Forest, as you mentioned, that has to do everything in the sights. And the aim punch wrecks him through the edge of the balcony. Shocks puts him down with the MAC-10. Still loving the secondary SMGs. He's trying to be like Fur, I guess, because he's the one we normally attest to using those weapons, as Draken does get one on a Deagle. But sitting back as they are. Get Right with armor. Galil try to burn inside of the site and find Shocks. They won't do so. This is going to be a safe call because they want the weapons at least for one more round on the NiP side before they can finally buy again. And it's 2 to go for G2.
Yeah, so the problem is, even like because they forced it into this round, going into the next, they're going to have nothing. So do you force buy behind the Galil? I guess you have to at this point in the game. You're so deep in the hole right now. You didn't take the eco just there. You've got a Deagle and Kevlar. You've got the Galil and Kevlar. You kind of just have to go for another buy. Otherwise, you're going to be giving them match point, and you're going to have 4 rounds. And that's just a grind that is almost impossible for any squad, even the Magical Ninjas on home turf, to be able to pull off. There it is. They are going with the buy.
All in.
Scout on Draken here. He is going to go for a mid-pick by the looks of things, so he could find an opening here. And all 5 members of G2 are making their way towards middle. He's getting a tag. 2 of them there. Apex and Body getting dropped down to below half HP, but stepping out again could be a mistake. Damage being done. Nade landing. He's done a lot of damage early.
Well, that's the thing. He's done significant damage early, and Shocks as well, being one of the players tagged. Gets into the flames and down to 5. This has given his team a chance. With the Galil on Get Right, the pistols absolutely can take down Apex, Shocks, and Body quite quickly. So it's MBK and Kenny, the high rollers with AKs. They have to be the ones to try and open up position. And the sight, the slow reload time does exist. Yeah, Kia pistol has to assemble it. Can't find Body, but it gives Get Right information on the Galil, and he's able to take down NBK immediately. So they level it, which is important because HP loss is one thing. But if they've got 5 guys and you've got 2, it doesn't matter how much HP they have. They set up angles and trades. You've got no chance. So they have to keep this controlled early on. Forest, he's about to have company. Shock's getting ever closer, and they're already inside from... Oh, he doesn't realize it either. Diggity, they're already behind the hay bales. They'll have no information on that at all. Draken still with... Excuse me, I was going to say with the scout. He's picked up an AK. I was going to say was watching from library. He is. Doesn't have the scoped weapon, but the AK is actually an improvement.
At this point, man, they could shoot him in the toe and they'll fall down as Drake will find Kenny. Apex, Shocks, and Body between them. Not a lot of HP as Forrest has flashed, and they've made their way up quad side into the site, finding one, only two more.
It's a big round as Apex will finally put the AK down, but Get Right shows up perfectly timed with the gun they saved that encouraged the force buy, a desperate one to keep them in the game, keep them off of the overtime point, and it works.
Yeah, you're going to see another buy come out from G2 here. Kenny and MBK don't have a lot of money, but between Body, Apex, and Shocks, they can all get AK, head armor, and utility. So I would definitely be expecting a buy. It just depends on what kind of attack they want to go for. I think this pause here will be used to work out what strategy is going to be employed. The guys from NiP just need to hold on. They just need to be solid. They need to play their rotations well. Communication needs to be at an all-time high, and positivity needs to be making its way into that booth. And maybe the crowd could assist in that.
No, maybe not. Maybe not.
It's maybe my accent. Maybe they didn't understand me.
It's possible, but at 14-5, I don't disagree with force buying. They have to make a play for it. They're that far down, you might as well go all in. And now they've got a chance. You are right. They called the timeout to talk about the economy. They have gone for the 3 rifles. So NiP needs to be cautious. Make sure they don't overcommit and assume that there's not going to be a buy, because G2, they love to force buy, and they're going to try and do it early to catch out NiP.
The utility advantage is in the favor of NiP right here, but I would argue that the rifle advantage is in that of G2. They have 3 AKs, a CZ, which we have seen to be absolutely amazing, and they're going to make their way very swiftly up mid. This could catch NiP off guard. They're happy to take the duel. They're peeking quad and arch side at the same time, and they've already got mid-wall control. Draken picking with the flash. He's going to find one, and he's going to quickly drop back, or maybe not, as Shocks will take him down. Trades across the board. Forrest finding one, and MBK and Kenny S are the only 2 standing.
Forrest is waiting for another peek. They do good work to make sure that nothing goes wrong with the AKs at top of middle. Yes, okay, they caught out Draken, but he found the kill first and had the information, which allowed for the transitions and Get Right finding Kenny. It's a flash out, exists. The last player to find was MBK. Does so swiftly, and they'll give themselves some time in breaking down the money on the G2 side.
G2 just need to take a really deep breath right now, Matt. They're in the driver's seat, which you know a lot about. They just need to just tick along here. You don't need to get too far ahead of yourself. Let's take an eco. Maybe let's just chill out. Let's make some jokes.
You did. You made one about driving. I liked it.
Yeah, thank you. But this should just be a clean-up round right now from the boys from NiP. Draken getting his confidence up. This is always a great way to make yourself smile. A bit of stat padding versus the eco. He's going to pull out the USB. I hope he just keeps fighting. You're not going down against clocks.
Oh,
there's another one.
Fair enough. Actually, that came from the USB from Drake, and it didn't actually come from the AK. Either way, bomb down. MBK, again, the last alive.
Throw yourself to the wolves, MBK. Let's get this show on the road, Matt.
Let's get this road on the show. MBK, Boiler. It's not exactly throwing himself to the wolves, is he?
There we go. He's going to get spammed down. Rez will finally finish him off, and this is what NiP need, a couple of easy frags. So, worst case scenario, I don't want to be painting too much of a doomsday picture, but going into case, this is the more rounds they play, the more warm they get, you know? And this is a big stage, especially for Rez and Drake. And so if they can start to feel it going into map 2, that's what we want to see. It might be a bit more of a competitive map, but I'm getting ahead of myself because right now we've got the gun round coming out from G2. Once again, they don't have a full buy. I don't consider this a full buy. We don't have the utility across the board, you know? They don't have all the Molotovs, they don't have all the nades, which is why the advantage still leans in the favor of NiP.
But they have the 5 smokes. If there's no contest toward middle, okay, so it's alt mid at this moment, but if they start to set up in mid with no peek, this could be the wall smokes we talked about yesterday, which caught off SK late in their comeback, which ultimately won them the series as they got into overtime on Inferno.
They are setting up for something by the looks of things, just posturing in alt middle, jumping around, spamming the walls, making sure that there is no boiler or halls aggression. But
it's not the same setup, just to note, and if they went back to it now, they have no information in middle, so this is going to be something different.
And it's scary as well. Like, Get Right is just falling back now, but I thought we might have another situation on our hands where the CT's pushed through Banana and flank, but Body was watching it the entire time. But this means they can still cheat a man over. When you have Rez boosted up on that wall, to have that smoke there, there's no issues. But is this the setup? Are they going back to B?
I'm not on. I think they want to confirm that Banana's clear. If they run it, this would be the time. They've got the 5. Okay, so they're just going to go straight Banana, not utilize the smokes at all, and run into Rez. I'm not sure I agree with that call because they had the time to do it. They could have worked with it, but with 39 seconds, they get the Banana territory, but it comes at a hefty price of losing Apex. And MBK, although he's at the top of middle, is in behind the smoke, doesn't have any information of what's on the other side of it. So they are playing blind with 26 seconds and have to commit.
If MBK could find exist here, then it would force Get Right probably away from that B site and the rotation would come in. But it looks like the B attack is going to be first.
And they go. Get right from Coffins. Rez waits from New Box. Smoked off is Get Right, so he has to rely on Rez to distract and get the first kills to allow him back in. Kenny trades it, and that's exactly what happens, however, because Get Right has confidence. Confidence is key over the smoke. Bomb dropped, MBK gets a kill post time, but goes down and loses money.
Jeez. That just looked, it was just a mess. It didn't look like G2 knew what they wanted to do. They had the decision of, hey, we don't have banana control. Going for this AX cube probably means that there's going to be 4 guys on the bomb site. Maybe something with a bit more pace. Maybe something trying to take those jewels, because we know G2, they love to be aggressive. They love to fight. When they're playing this style, it's almost like they're playing into NiP's hands, who are now just playing a very solid CT side.
You might be onto something without the banana control, because the 5 smokes, late game, AKs, you don't really use much other than flashes. That was the perfect time to run that strategy,
yeah.
And it looked like they were grouping to do it. I was certain they would, and then they just went toward banana.
This is the thing I'm talking about. If you don't have the full buy, you don't have the HEs to do the airstrikes to push the players back from banana, you don't have the Molotovs to contest that part of the map, you can't really Molotov anybody off of the trash or arch side. You're basically hoping that when you run your execute, that the CTs are out of position and your flashes are perfect, that it means you can just, either they have to fall back to a more passive area of the map, and you can just run into the site, or you need to be hoping that you can take heads-up duels. And I think like a faster-paced, a little bit more aggressive G2 would be nice to see coming out. I don't think we've seen the AWP on Kenny yet either.
I've not. I've seen an AK on Exist, but only good for 1. Pistols adding up some kills, but perhaps not enough body. Lost alive, and a swift execution from Forest. Almost to double digits.
Yeah, Shox has really dropped off here, man. He's only got 26 frags, so this half he obviously hasn't had a lot of an impact, but I think 2 rounds on the board so far for G2 in the second half of things. And Kenny has had a couple of misses, so we do see him picking up the AWP here. Maybe he can redeem himself from that first half where he did miss a couple of sitters. Just curious, he's going to be flushing banana. This means they will be contesting to that part of the map. The Molotovs will come in now, and the stack from NiP, 3 players over towards that part of the map, means we might have a brawl on our hands if G2 want to pursue this avenue.
Get Right backs off, so they don't fancy being aggressive. They concede banana. They'll allow that to be gone, but okay, that's as easy as you'd like. MBK, I think, was even startled. That Draken was just standing there, not at all expecting anyone in Boiler with no one else looking at it. I'm not sure.
Overstayed his welcome. All right. Well, that's a freebie early in the round, and that's definitely what G2 needed. They definitely needed that. We saw them struggling with mid-round decision-making. Now they do have banana control. They have body up the top. They've identified that as an issue. They have a free pick onto Draken, and now they're making their way up the mid-corridor. Kenny finding a frag onto Exist. 3-on-5 situation now for G2.
Kenny gets another. Slides over to find Forest, and he's just going to sit in post, knocking down the NiP op early and striking with their own body. Gets Rez this time. It's not gone well for NiP. Not a single kill and nowhere to work. Get Right flashes himself back in. Shox doesn't really mind having a bit of vision deterred because he finds the kill and finds map point crucially for G2 before NiP hits double digits as well.
Yeah, this kind of feels like G2 always had this in them. They identified, hey, we need a banana control. Once we have that, we can play the rotations of NiP and go for those picks in a more fair environment. They can't go for the stacks, and that's exactly what we saw come out. I think you just see business as usual. Same thing as last round coming in. Kenny throwing those flashes, the Molotov coming into banana. Yeah, here it is. This is all they need to do because they're getting full map control with this. It looks like they finally pulled up their socks, looked in the mirror and said, let's finish this one, boys.
Rez gets position, but not the shot, and they'll spray him down. Nowhere to run at that point in time. No one else close enough. Although they have 2 other players on B, they weren't in a position to do anything about it. In behind the bags, Exist finds 1.
Bomb down as well.
Teammate was hoping to smoke him off. Bomb is down, but it's not secure because they are going to pursue it naturally with 3 players. And Get Right, it's clever, it's crafty, and Apex finds it.
You hate to see that.
Used to be the lovely cart you could throw the smoke down and play on top of in that position. That's gone, and Get Right tries to come up with his own iteration of it. It's not going to work. And is that the end? 4 versus 2 on map point for G2.
This should technically be an unlosable situation, right? You've got the CTs at a bomb site each. They're not playing together. They can't help each other. Someone would have to have a hero play, and all the Ts have to do is go as a 4-man unit. Trade out. You have the bomb site. You've got a guy in a 1-on-3 situation. You close her out from there, and that's all she wrote. And neither player from NiP is going for any aggression, which means they're not going to have an early call, but Draken might have. Free frag as Shox is caught on his own, and now he's given Forest a chance. We've seen what this man can do. He's been doing it for years, and they're coming his way.
Chances there. Playing on the box, very tight angle. He can strike at the last possible minute, which he does. Bomb went to pit as well. Unfortunately for Forest, it's an immediate trade back from Kenny. They still have to go to the bomb, and there's only 12 seconds to work with. If Forest had stayed alive even in a little bit longer, they may have had it. It's down to Draken, it's down to an AWP, and a retake. Bomb planted, no kits. But it is a 1 versus 2, and he's close by already. Massive gap in the smoke, but Kenny naturally is staring it down on his own AWP, and that is enough for G2. There goes 16-9, a slow start from NiP. They had a slow start yesterday as well, but they woke up late, which is encouraging. Either way, a map down, and they have to fight back.
Gargantuan effort there by Shox. Really just putting up the big numbers on the scoreboard and making life very difficult for the side of NiP. The home crowd not getting too loud early this morning, Matt.
No, not at all. There's not much to get excited about in that game. There was some late charges, but we didn't see any of, I hate to say the term, but NiP magic as we had yesterday, because they were all over the place. Everyone was firing. There was massive contribution all the way around today. They were slow. They were slow to get going. And part of that as well, to be fair, was the economy in the first half. They had a chance to get back into it. I think it was about 6